What is up, jabronis? JJ back here from Pure Bets, talking a little Super WildCard Sunday, um, January 16th, I believe, supposedly. Um, yeah, looking forward to some of these games today. I think yesterday was interesting, right? It's always fun when the favorites cover, right? And not me being not a guy who often tags favorites. Wasn't my best. And again, Raiders scored late there. That would have definitely turned the tide for me yesterday in terms of ROI. Would have turned my day positive actually. But needless to say, we move on. We roll into today. As you can see, sporting the Vikings gear for my team that's not in the playoffs. Just here representing Minnesota. What's up, Eric? Yeah, so we'll go into these games. I'll tell you some looks that I have, some angles you could bet or not bet or fade, whatever you prefer. But yeah, I'll talk through some of these games and then I'll be on Run Pure Sports for members talking a little DFS and then bets as well over there. Did you agree with clocking it on first down? I'm not sure what exactly that was in reference to. The only egregious clocking that I personally thought was wild, or fake clocking for that matter, was like the Patriots down 4 touchdowns, fake spiking it, opting not to use a timeout, and then rushing to the line, fake spike. Who would have believed they were going to spike it there on second down? Just kind of wild. Oh, you know what? Oh, so you're referencing that. So if I could be honest, I was actually not watching the game live. I was at a restaurant. It didn't have any TVs there. So I actually didn't even see that, them clocking it on first down to lose a play. Needless to say, felt like it still could have got there. I thought Carr played pretty well, all things considered. I was on his pass prop over. I thought he played pretty well. And if you saw on Twitter, I liked him. I like those odds at 16-1 for him to have the most pass yards, or potentially have the most pass yards of the weekend. And we'll see if that can survive today. Needless to say, I also like Dak. So, if we could survive this first game, the second game will be not too shabby anyway. And then you'll ride into the last game, with Mahomes and the Steelers before heading into Monday night. But yeah, fun day of games yesterday, and just looking forward to today and bouncing back in some respects. I mean, DFS didn't exactly treat me well either. I know you could profit in DFS. I'm sure folks that play regularly will understand, but you can profit in DFS. It doesn't mean you're not tilted. Felt like I had a lot of good leverage plays yesterday. I was well over ownership on a lot of guys that did well. Just didn't really pack the lineup properly to win it. Had a bunch in the top 10, top 15, but either way, we move forward. We move onward. It's up, Tercero, Eric, Otter, Bobby, Julio, Princess Chachu. What's happening, everybody? Okay, so I won't give you blue balls any longer. We could just go right into these games. So, Philly and Tampa, interestingly enough, is this line's moving down or south, if you will, and I think it's down to 7 last I saw, which is interesting. Bunch of late Philly steam. But I mean, in this house, as you guys know, the missus is an Eagles fan, so wouldn't mind if they upset today. But I am a diehard Brady fan, so I do kind of hope he advances. LOL. But either way, as for how the game breaks down, so I'll tell you this: like I like there to be points early. I know that people. I know that, I'm not a weather forecaster. I'm not a meteorologist. I'm not going to sit here and jerk you off over wind. But 17 to 20 mile an hour winds. It's not like crazy. It's not going to be cold. So, no precipitation. I don't see how the only reason folks are lining up to bet this game under is because of 17 mile an hour winds. It could impact the game, but I mean, enough where the line drops 2 or 3 points. So it's nice to see the line kind of picking back up. I like there to be points in the first half. You could bet however you want it, whether you bet, Bucks over their team total first half, or Eagles over their team total first half, or just the whole first half over. Bucks have been a nut first half team, or not over first half team, since Brady's taken the helm. And Philly, for whatever reason, gives up. Both defenses give up a lot of points in the first half. Tampa has been okay defensively overall, but I'll tell you this: like everybody looks at them like, oh, how is Philly going to move the ball? A team that runs the ball, they're number one in the NFL at rushing, and Tampa stops the run really well. But Tampa hasn't been as elite at stopping the run as they used to be, much like Philly. Because remember, both these defenses used to be complete funnel defenses, right? I mean, Philly used to not be able to run, but used to be able to throw all over Philly. Now with Darius Slay and some changes in that secondary, they're decent. The problem I have with Philly is, man, who have they played this season? They haven't played anybody. They've had one of the easiest strength of schedules in the NFL. I feel like I saw this or heard it or saw it myself that Philly hasn't beaten a team with a winning record all season. I think right now, if you look at their whole schedule, who their wins are against, every one of them has a losing record. In relation to this game, the good news for them is you have continuity issues on the Brady side, right? You get new pass catchers, new weapons with all the turnaround they've had offensively. But overall, I like the first half to be points. It's for props. I don't love props in this game because, man, it's tough. Like Sanders prop seems a little low rushing. I think it was like, what did I see? 52, maybe even less, 49. Let me look real quick. Yeah, 44, which I'll be honest, that seems pretty low. Especially since as long as Philly keeps this game within 2 scores for most of it, he's going to get touches. So, as I stated, like Philly, Tampa Bay's rush defense is really good, but it's not elite like it usually is. You can definitely run on this team between the tackles, and with the read option that Jalen Hurts is going to present, it'll open up doors for Miles Sanders today. So I just think that number's pretty short, to be honest. But we'll see if that translates to anything. And then of course you have the interesting Fournette, going to come back, not going to come back, and then gets officially ruled out. They get Gio Bernard back, I guess, to offset some things. And if you believe in Le'Veon Bell, I know we have the running joke on the DFS end that I believed he was going to get 15 fantasy points in one game from whatever it was, week 14 onward. Had 10 or 11 last week. Landed in the box, but so again, as for this game, I think the way to approach it, the way I approached it was, points in the first half. But as far as like props go, I just think there's a lot of variance. I mean, who is Brady going to target today heavily? Is Perriman going to get himself into the mix? Is Johnson going to get himself into the mix? We all know about Gronk and Evans. But Slay's likely going to be on Evans, I'd assume. I know Slay travels all over the field, so I don't know if he's going to like shadow Evans, but he does play all over. But assuming he does for most of the game, Evans is likely to be stifled a bit. But overall, like I said, I think there'll be points early. I think you're going to see the ball move really well. And again, to me, 17-mile-an-hour winds. It's not going to like crazy impact field goals either. I don't understand the overreaction to 17 miles of wind. I just don't. It could result in a 40-yard pass hooking a bit. But like I said, I don't. And both quarterbacks have strong arms, so I don't. Again, I just don't see that. I don't see the reason why people are lining up to bet the under with the only defense or justification being wind at 17 miles an hour. So either way, that's what I'm looking at for this game. So we'll head on to the next game, which definitely will be my best bet of the show. So yesterday we have a few favorites roll through. I'd argue 2 overs should have ran through. I can't believe that first game didn't go over full game. I didn't have the full game over, but as you guys know, if you watched the video earlier in the week, I did have the 49ers over their team total. The 49ers, the Raiders over their team total. So yeah, that stung late. But I just think that there's likely to be points again today. Maybe not in the last game, but in these first 2, there's very likely to be points. The 49ers team total over is my favorite bet of the weekend coming in, 23.5. Again, I don't. This is the number 1 offense in the NFL. Like, it depends how you grade it, what stats you like and what stats you don't like. I personally like yards per play to tell me who the best offenses are in the NFL. I always think points per play. Like, I know some people like points per play. I always think that's has a lot of variance to it. Okay, if you drive down the field and you fumble a few times, or if you drive down the field and a ball gets tipped and picked off, that's why, and that skews points per play. That's why I like yards per play, because at least what offenses actually move the football really well. 49ers do it better than every team in the NFL. It's actually a shame that these two are getting matched up against one another, because I liked both these two to advance into the second round of the playoffs. But again, they get matched up against one another, so only one can move on. Look, Dallas is a great team. Dallas could certainly win today. I just think the line's wrong. So, yeah, I like the 49ers a bunch of different directions. I'm going to be overweight in the game for sure. Or for that matter, I am overweight on the game. I think that you can bet in a bunch of different ways. Same thing, like I said, with the earlier game. But my best bet's definitely going to be 49ers team total over 23.5. Let me just make sure that you got that number is still live or hot, if you will. Hold on. Yeah, so it's 130 now, so the VIG's a little high. That's at DraftKings. Let me see. Just make sure that I can't get you a better price on one of these other books. But yeah, that's definitely going to be wrong game. That's definitely going to be the look that I'm that I'm on. I'll explain all the details in a second. I just want to see if I can get you guys a better number at FanDuel, or if it's sitting at a better number on FanDuel. Because minus 130 VIG is never fun. I know a lot of people lay 130 often, or may or may not. But yeah, FanDuel's 24, which 24 is a key number I want to avoid. Okay, yeah, so it'll be 49ers team total over 23.5. It's currently minus 130. I mean, nothing I can do. I do the show on Sundays and Steam hits, so it is what it is. But our Run Pure Bets crew members got a better price, and depending on the week they got it, we could have got 115. It fluctuated throughout the week, but it doesn't surprise me that late Steam now is coming in. But that's going to be my best bet of the show. But again, you can feel free to bet this however you'd like. The 49ers have started slow, so I don't love the idea of betting them first half. With that said, it's like, to me, the way this goes down is the 49ers, in my opinion, only lose today if Jimmy Garoppolo pisses his pants or pisses down his leg, because there's just no this. So you have a very young defense in Dallas, right? A defense that takes a lot of risks. If you watch this team play enough, you'll see they're very over anxious. I mean, Diggs leads the charge, but they're very over anxious. Even Micah Parsons, he's a tremendous D end, but when you look at the 49ers schemes and the counters and the draws and the delays and the wide receiver reverses, there's the Dallas defensive ends and linemen are likely going to be on ice skates, including Parsons. This team is just so creative with their play calling and schemes. And when they run the play action, expect the whole middle of the field to be open, because these Cowboys, they're just not that disciplined defensively. And one missed tackle turns a 4-yard run into a 40-yard run. And they just have explosive athletes all over the place. Think about this for a second. The last few weeks, we haven't even heard the name George Kittle get said. That dude's due to break out again. Ayuk's been incredible. Deebo Samuel, of course. And even Juwan Johnson, right? Juwan Johnson, we get that right? I think so. Either way, he's been interestingly good as well out of nowhere. And of course, Eli Mitchell in the backfield. But it doesn't matter. They just rotate running backs there. It doesn't matter. Mitchell's been great, but it's whoever they put back there has been great. Remember when Mostert was getting all the attention early in the year? It's a scheme-based offense, and they can just plug and play flex positions. I mean, maybe a guy like Samuel and Kittle aren't as replaceable, but they're so scheme-driven. And Jimmy G isn't asked to do a lot in this offense. He's really not. I haven't talked much on the Dallas end, so I'll talk a little bit there. Look, this is the type of day that is likely going to be an Amari Cooper day, because CeeDee Lamb likely is going to get a little extra attention. He's their deep guy. 49ers are not going to want to get beat over the top. Cooper is likely going to be the recipient of a lot of things, maybe even Wilson as well. But I think that Dak could have a good game. Dak could to me, if Dallas wins this game, it's because Dallas wins 27-24 or 30-24 or 30-20. Either way, it's hard to imagine this game not shooting. Again, unless these offenses trip over themselves in scoring position, which is possible. Of course, it's possible. But should be a fun game regardless. Probably likely the most fun game of the day, in theory at least. And then as for props in this game, I think you can go a few different directions. I don't mind at all Jimmy Garoppolo's passing yards prop over. And I don't also mind, believe it or not, Dak. But I prefer Jimmy G's, to be honest, at the smaller number. His number's 25 yards less. Again, I just feel like the 49ers are just they're going to be a rhythm-based offense today. Whatever's working, they're just going to keep doing. And I know for a fact that this Dallas secondary, while it does have a lot of turnovers, it's an extremely volatile defense. A lot of big risk, big reward type plays, which, look, when you think about it, right, a guy like Jimmy G, who turns the ball, who much like Carson Wentz, kind of like blacks out from time to time during a game, and those seem to always result in turnovers. But I think overall you're going to get good offensive production from both squads, and does it translate to points is going to be the difference. Do guys land in the box, or do possessions end in 3? But yards are likely to pile up in this game on both sides, and should be a fun one. But yeah, I like the 49ers in a bunch of different directions. So, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully, not another chalk day here. Well, I don't have any horse in the first race, but we'll see what happens. Do I like Kittle to score plus 148? I think there's a lot of value there, Chacho. I think there's if you think about it, weeks back, like Kittle to score used to be like 110. Minus 110, I mean, like minus 120. Now, granted, this offense is a little different now, right? Like they rely on Debo a lot. Ayuk's stepped up. They run the ball with tremendous efficiency. So, I get why the number is what it is, but I have that chewed as some value. Okay, so last but not least, Steelers and the Chiefs. So other bet for me for the day. I just want to make sure this is still live. Hold, please. Let me see what these numbers are. So 13, 46.5. Game props. Okay, so Steelers team total. So this one, we actually got a better number on than I did because of the late steam. Not Steelers team total, Chiefs. If I could type. Chiefs team total, under 29.5. And that's minus 105 at DraftKings. My thing here is but this might sound silly to you guys, like there are very few scripts, in my opinion, that get the Chiefs over this number. If you think about the first game, like the Chiefs ended with 36, and I think they had a score in the fourth quarter that helped push this over as well. But first of all, when these two teams first met, the Chiefs team total was actually under 28. I think it was 27.5, or it was 26.5 or 27. And the Steelers turned the ball over, and the Steelers couldn't get first downs. So the Chiefs just had the ball the entire first half. And then they just kind of sat on the lead. I mean, they even scored a bit in the third and fourth quarter, but they really hit the brakes in the second half. To me, I don't even know if this entire Chiefs team is healthy. Like, I know you're hearing questionable and people likely to play. So I don't know. Tyreek Hill practiced fully, but he didn't practice all week. I don't think Kelsey's 100% either. Darrell Williams definitely is not 100%. And are the Chiefs really looking to make a statement tonight with this one? They just beat this team 3 weeks ago, by a bunch. I'm not saying the Chiefs are going to look past the Steelers today, because they're likely not going to look past them. But the idea, like for me, the way the Steelers get to 30, the Chiefs get to 30, is if the Steelers score a lot of points. And I mean, do we really believe that's going to happen? It could, of course. But to me, the Steelers game plan going in is going to be bleed the clock as best as possible. First down, get 3 to 4 yards on first down consistently. This team against the Chiefs the last time, and one of the biggest problems with the Steelers in general has been they don't get yardage on first down. They run the football, they get 1 yard, or they get stuffed, or they lose yards. Even if they pass like a 1 or 2 yard pass. It makes second and third down much more difficult, especially when this team lacks the weapons it does. Now, Juju's returning. How much does that mean to this offense? I have no idea. I don't even know how much he's going to play. Yeah, sure. If he's a full bill of health and they run him out there like he was never even injured today, yeah, maybe that could help if he's fully healthy. Because he's definitely an upgrade from Ray McLeod, who's been filling in for him in that position. And you probably see a little less Freiermuth if Juju plays in terms of the target share. Deontay, likely does his thing, 6-7 catches like usual, for 40, 50 yards. However, I just feel like with a whole flip of a game plan, and let's be honest, the Steelers have nothing to lose. I mean, Big Ben, when he came out and said that, we don't have a chance, to me, you can kind of take that in both directions. You can take that as Chiefs are just going to plow over this team again, or you take it as, the Steelers just want to have that underdog mindset. They want to be an underdog, and they'll change things up come this game because they have nothing to lose, in their opinion. There's also the argument that maybe Big Ben already retired, LOL. But we'll see how the game goes. I think that in general, though, to me, yeah, of course, there's a path for the Chiefs to get here without the Steelers scoring. Of course, it could play out the exact same way it played out the first time. I just don't think that's going to be the case. And again, if you're the Chiefs, I just don't see where the need is to go crazy. If this team gets a big lead, are they really just going to step on this team's throat again? I don't know about that. So I like the Chiefs under their number here. And, look, for me, believe it or not, with this, I'm actually rooting for the Steelers not to score with this bet. I feel like the more the Steelers score, the more at risk this bet is. But I mean, do you really believe that the Steelers are going to, put up 3.5 touchdowns today? Again, possible if the Chiefs step over themselves or trip over themselves, sure. But that's hard to believe. I also, like I said, I don't think this offense is fully healthy, and it does create problems with them having a lead and likely guys sitting late. So yeah, that's my perspective there on that game. And those are my two best bets for this video. Now, I'll talk real quick on some props for this game. Darrell Williams' numbers are fairly soft against the defense and the Steelers that can't stop anybody between the tackles running the football. But how healthy is he? How healthy isn't he? Again, assuming he's healthy, the number's soft. So you could bet that over. But you look at some of these props, like Deontay Johnson at 62 is fair, I guess. But again, if Juju's going to play a lot of snaps, Juju's going to take target share. Chase Claypool has been coming on recently as well. And on the other end, Mahomes, I mean, his numbers are like 270, 275. That's fair as well. I think that the Steelers are going to really do their best to slow this game down, and it's likely going to slow down player props. It's a stay away spot for me there. It wouldn't surprise me if the game shoots in theory, but I think at the end of the day, if the game shoots, it's going to really require the Steelers to score points, and I don't like, for obvious reasons, the chance of that happening. So, ultimately, any other questions from you guys? I'll hang around for another 3-4 minutes before I head over to the Run Pure Sports video. But yeah, those are my two looks for today. I have a few more picks over for Run Pure Bets on the site, so feel free to check those out as well. And I'll likely add another play for the Steelers game as well. As we get closer and as I get a better idea of the injury report as we get closer to game time. But for now, I wish you guys all the best of luck today. As always, gamble responsibly. Goes without saying. And let's have a day. I mean, look, if it's going to be another day of chalk hitting today, likely going to be painful for me, but we'll see. Hopefully we get a little bit of a bounce back. Hopefully we get some dogs with bark today that at least help towards some of my own wagers and some of your own wagers. If you're doing that, if you're betting favorites again, I wish you the best of luck. And as for totals, however you want to do it there, keep parlays to a minimum, folks, because as you know, those are just a slow knife and a bankroll. And look, as always, thank you. Appreciate you guys for coming in, watching the video. I will be back with a free play for Twitter for tomorrow's Monday Night Football game. So make sure to check that out at Uncle Dunkle on Twitter. And I'll have a few more picks for Run Pure Bets crew for tomorrow night's game. But yeah, other than that, folks, stay safe. A little crazy out there. Gamble responsibly. I'll catch you guys likely Tuesday or Wednesday, maybe even make a debut college basketball video. We also have the Australian Open, so I'll likely dabble there. Chacho, just real quick, I did talk a little bit on the San Francisco side. In Dallas, I do expect there to be a ton of yards. Gun in my head, I would bet the full game over, but I just prefer the 49ers end specifically. All right, guys, so catch you all later. Stay safe, gamble responsibly, and as always, Run Pure. Catch you guys next time.